Hey everybody, Scott Monday with Kitchen and Bath Crate, and today we are at Barringham Lane in Modesto, and we are talking to Karen and Donna, who we call the Sisters Barringham. And why do we do that? Because you both live on Barringham.
Right.
And we did jobs for both of you.
Right.
And we've never done a testimonial video with sisters, right? This is amazing.
That's special.
So how long have the two of you known each other?
Since she was born, yeah.
Pretty much forever, right?
Forever.
Absolutely. And so Karen, we finished your project, which we're sitting in right now, right about 2.5 years ago.
2019. Yeah.
Right? And then Donna, we finished yours about 6 months ago or so, is that correct?
Yes, about that.
Right around there. So my first question for you is, what caused you two to think about the remodel project? So Karen, we'll start with you. What caused you to kind of say, this place needs some help?
Well, this is the original family home. Starting in 1963, the parents built this house. And so I was a junior in high school when we moved in. It really needed refreshing. And one of the things that my husband and I agreed to was we wouldn't move here unless we were able to make it our own.
And you did, because this was a significant project.
Yeah, it was.
We opened up walls, we added this beautiful island that we're kind of sitting in front of, so a real dramatic change to the house you grew up with to a certain extent.
That's true, very much so. And then you were instrumental in that too. You probably have a question in mind about that, but it needed it. It needed the refreshing. So
Definitely.
Let's stop there with.
Okay, no, that's great. Gives us some context for the conversation. So, Donna, what about you? So you moved into the home that you currently live in, fairly recently, right?
Yes, just over Memorial Weekend. Yeah, a few months ago.
So you, on the other hand, as opposed to a home that you had decades to kind of think about how to modify, you came into a home that you started quickly thereafter.
Yes, in fact, before I moved in, I purchased the house and I wanted to have the majority of the work done before I actually moved in. The home was built in the same era. It's smaller than this house, but it was perfect. It came up for sale at the right time, but it did need updating, and I wanted to do that. And so I was able to tag on to Karen's hard work and found out about Kitchen Crate. Since I kind of followed the whole process as she was going through it. So, yeah, it seemed like a natural next step to take.
Excellent.
To go with Kitchen Crate.
In terms of the initial steps you took with our team from a sales perspective, what was that like as you were kind of embarking on the project, and what are your memories of that kind of phase of the early part of the project? It
was very easy. I mean, the fact that everyone was familiar with Karen and Chris's project and everything. They welcomed me right in and communicated, right from the very beginning. And I met everybody that I'd be working with. It was just real easy, very pleasant experience.
Excellent. Now, Karen, yours was a little while back in terms of compared to Donna's, but what were your initial, what are your memories of that initial phase of the project?
Well, by the time we made the decision, I was confident that Kitchen Crate was our company because I had followed you and your rise probably starting in 2016, watching your videos, and I happened to be in Phillips Electric, one day when you were actually filming one of your videos.
Oh, yes.
And so it was a learning process, and once I heard that you were starting Kitchen and Bath Crate Custom, I knew that was where we fit in. We had a young man by the name of Jeffrey who was amazing, worked with us getting things set up. Lindsay worked with us in design. Because it was custom and the stars aligned, we were able to have you overseeing the project, and I just knew we were in good hands. I was confident, and I have opinions about what I want, and
as you should.
And I felt that we were in good hands, so I had no question once we got started.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. So now let's kind of talk a little bit about the design phase, right? And so what were, maybe Donna, we'll start with you. What were some of the bigger challenges on your project during the design phase? Was it simply a matter of kind of coming up with the palette that really worked for you, or did you have some unique challenges during that phase at all?
The challenges were probably within my head because I didn't feel very confident in that side of the process, at least for myself.
Sure.
And so that was one of the big deciding factors going with Kitchen Crate was that you have a designer. on
And did you
staff.
work with Lindsay as well?
No, it was Casey.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So we have each of the two
Yeah.
designers represented. That's
Uh-huh.
really cool.
And she was great.
Yes.
You know, I don't know Lindsay, but Casey was great. We got along, and you know, she asked what my preferences were, and I kind of gave her a sense of things, you know, colors that I like and the look that I was looking for. And so that was a big help, you know, besides the timing, which was awesome. So those were probably the two deciding factors going with Kitchen Crate. Yeah, Casey was a big help, and because, you know, I wasn't comfortable with that side of the process. I mean, Karen's really good at she has a good eye too, so she was a help too, but having Casey there to you know, meeting her at Bedrosian's and looking at her suggestions, and then I'd kind of give my input. So it was, you know, it was collaborative, but to have her kind of lead me through the process was very helpful, very helpful. I was very excited instead of, you know, nervous.
Yeah.
So.
So both of your projects occurred prior to moving into the home.
It's true.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about kind of that construction phase, right? Which for most people out there that are watching, they're like, you know, biting the fingernails, because that's where the horror stories typically come in, right? It's all fun and games when you're doing the proposal and the design, and then construction starts, and there are these strangers in like cut off jeans and mullets that are descending on my house. But that's not the case that you
No.
experienced,
Especially
right?
with the older homes too, you're not sure what you're gonna find, you know, when they start tearing into things.
Yeah, so Karen, what were your kind of what were your thoughts on the construction phase and how that went for your project?
Well, by the time we got started, my husband Chris and I, we were excited. We were ready. We had looked at this for 45, 50
Right.
years. So,
You were tired
we
of
were
it.
ready for it. You know, demolition, do it. You
Yes.
know, get it started.
Yes.
So we were excited to have it done. And efficient and fast, and you know how it is when you can have in your mind what it's going to look like and you can see it on paper, but when you get in the space and now you're down to bare walls, it's another phase in really feeling like this is going forward, and you start seeing some other things, and maybe some things change. Oh, well, you know,
Yes.
with that gone, well, why don't we try this? And we knew there were going to be some dramatic changes, and we were eager every step of the way. The fellows were wonderful. I mean, they're great. They clean up after themselves every day. They're always sweeping, and you know, when they leave, it's a pallet ready for them. Whatever trade is coming the next day, they've got a clean space to work with. Everything was fine.
Excellent.
You know?
Excellent. Donna, what about you? How did you feel during the construction phase of the project? Was it nerve-wracking?
No,
Okay.
it wasn't. Just like Karen, I was very excited because, you know, there was a lot leading up to that date, and then it got, you know, pushed out just for various reasons. So when it was time to start, I was very excited. And, you know, when I walked in and everything was like completely gone, it's like, whoa, this is exciting, you know. So I was, you know, I had envisioned in my mind the renderings that Chris had sent me, and I was really excited to see that too, you know, what could be and what, you know, they were working towards. So it was just very exciting. And again, the guys were great, you know, the whole crew that came in, and very friendly, just let me know what they were going to be doing every day, and step by step. If there were issues, they'd call me. They wouldn't do anything until they, you know, consulted with me, you know, just to make sure I was aware, and it was fairly smooth. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we shoot for.
Yeah.
Now, did we finish on time? I know with yours.
Oh my gosh,
but-
yes. Timing was an issue because we had sold our house. We had been given an extension to stay in the house, and we had the movers lined up, and so I really wasn't concerned. And you haven't asked this question, but you know, what were some of the good things, but and bad things, but the good.
There's always a
I guess,
right?
well,
It's
you know,
construction.
it's construction, exactly. But the time when you pulled out that sheet that had a list of all the trades, the day they were going to start, the day they would end, what percentage of completion they were at, I mean, how could I not trust that, yeah, they're going to finish on time? And you did. You absolutely did. So I would definitely say that's a big selling point. I mean, your organization and the way you manage the trades and the people that you've selected to do those jobs in the projects you take on, top notch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's
And
great.
did we finish your job on time?
Yes, there were a few days extended, but not your fault.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we had some tile issues that were dealt with, and that kind of prolonged it a week, but that was because of my decision, not
Gotcha.
because of your
A
decision.
little bit of a mid-project course change,
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly.
Which actually, you bring up a really good point, because a lot of times people feel like with our system that there's so much rigidity that there's no such thing as a change along the way. And I think both of you experienced kind of the strength of a system, but also the inherent flexibility. These are places you're going to be in for decades.
Yeah.
Who cares if we adhere to this strict schedule? You know, if we
Exactly.
add a day because you make a change,
Uh-huh.
that's, you can be enjoying that for 3 decades,
Exactly.
right? So,
Yeah, Richard, my project manager, he said, I just want you to be happy.
Yes.
It's okay, you know,
Yes.
if you're not happy with something, we'll make it right. And he did. And he updated the timeline and showed me, and I said, okay, that's fine. I get it. Again, everything was on schedule as it was supposed to be. But with those few changes, they just had to adapt and
Sure.
the extension of time in. But it was only like a week or so,
Yeah.
so it was still fine.
And a project.
And I am happy with that.
Excellent.
Yes.
at the end of the day, that's what
Yes.
matters, right?
Yes.
And a project like this is a learning experience.
Oh my
It
gosh.
really is. We had done a small kitchen before, but nothing to this extent. So for us, and I would tell any homeowners doing a remodel, you're going to find out that there are things you didn't know that are going to impact your choices.
Yes.
And that could happen midstream, but you're willing to work with us to a degree. Certainly. For example, the travertine. I thought, wow, real stone. I get real stone in my house. This is beautiful. I didn't know that when you have real stone and they do their cutting and everything, that sometimes there are holes.
Yes.
And they fill the holes with something that may not be the same color as the stone.
Yep.
And they were laying my floor in the bathroom and also in the entryway, and I'm like, what are all these white streaks? And the fellow who was laying the tile, immediately like, oh my gosh, she's worried about this. And they had to come and hold my hand a little bit and say, this is the way stone is, and if you don't like it, we'll adjust. Well, the long and short of it was I still wanted the travertine. I learned that there are
Right.
imperfections, but what they did was then take the pieces that were most blatant and move those to the side,
Right.
or
Yes.
hide them around a corner or whatever. Okay, I can do this, and it worked. So you're flexible, you're sensitive to your client,
Sure.
and you make adjustments along the way. So it works, but it's a learning curve,
It is.
and that's important for homeowners to know
Yes.
as well.
100%.
Yeah, that was my situation too.
Yeah.
The variation in the tile, it's like, oh, I don't remember this, They said, well, there is a rating before,
That
and it
V,
is very,
that's right.
yeah, so I definitely learned something, but, in the end, I was happy. The other thing was my range didn't get delivered until 2 months after
Yes.
you were
That's right.
finished.
And you were right in the middle, or toward the tail end, but still in the midst of that real huge COVID
Ex-
supply chain challenge.
Exactly. I got all my other appliances I got on time, but it was just the range. And so it didn't come until like 2 months later.
Right.
Oh, because they hadn't cut the
Right.
granite either.
Yeah, we don't cut until we actually have the appliance
Yeah.
in hand, right? So we don't
Right.
cut the hole wrong.
So when it was finally time, they came in and they, put plastic all around, and they were in there with their saws cutting, and they installed it, and it's beautiful.
What would you say to someone that might be out there watching and considering a remodel project? How would you counsel them, other than obviously there's this learning curve to it, but anything else you'd say to someone out there that might be considering using kitchen bath crate or starting a project like that?
I would say initially do your homework. It really behooves you to use sites like House and get a sense, at least a sense of what you like and what you don't like. Pictures really help, so that pictures speak volumes. go ahead and get other bids. I mean, and you'll find out that Kitchen and Bath Crate is competitive. You're probably not going to be the least expensive,
Oop.
but
And if we are, we did something wrong.
well, but it's going to pay off, and that was one thing I told Donna. Write the check. It's a one-time thing. You're going to live with this the rest of your time here, so you won't even be thinking about that check. And it's easy to say, and budgets are tight, and I get that. But writing the check is it's worth it. It's in satisfaction after the fact. It's definitely worth it. But do your homework. Understand that you have a designer you're going to be working with, which goes a long way. You're not out there on an island by yourself. You know, you've got support people all along the way. The project manager, the designer, the fellows who work here are really great resources too.
Yes.
Well, in your experience, like with our garbage disposal, the first one we put in, I said, I know this is really loud. You know, I didn't understand. And he goes, well, I'll come and check it. And he said, nah, let's put another one in. So he did. He replaced it, and that was okay. So the guys are very supportive. So every step of the way, you're listened to, you're supported, your concerns are reinforced or whatever, and there's a 2-year warranty. I mean,
And even beyond that, actually.
yeah, definitely.
That's just
I'm
the
sure.
listed warranty.
Exactly. Yeah.
So here's the deal. I mean, yes, we want to provide a premium service, a premium experience, and part of that is making sure that we come back and take care of things and be taken care of. That's just how I would want to be treated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how we want our customers to feel as
It's
well.
totally appreciated, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donna, what about you? What would you say to someone that's thinking about maybe doing a 2023 kitchen or bathroom remodel?
Well, if you want to be able to plan your life, Kitchen Crate's the way to go, because they'll
good
give
point.
you a start date and a finish date, and it's not like you'll get the day will come up and they won't show up,
Right.
because I know a lot of people that couldn't believe that my kitchen was done and theirs was still going on, and their contractor was nowhere to be found, So that's huge, and to me that was worth its weight in gold. I mean, because I was living in a rental house, and of course I wanted to move into the house, so I was able to plan and make that happen. So yeah, being able to guarantee the finished date is huge. It's big.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you two have been wonderful. Thank you for taking your time to chat with me. It's so cool to be able to talk with two customers that obviously, know each other well and had similar projects, but different time frames, some similar experiences and some differences, and it's kind of cool to just hear two different perspectives of one. So really appreciate you two taking your time.
That's all right. I was proud to. I was proud to share with whoever I've told about it, and I've encouraged a lot of people to check out your company. So some have actually taken up.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Yes, for sure.
Anyway,
so
no, happy to do it.
So thanks so much for watching kbcrate.com. You can see a ton of before and after pictures, and also schedule a time to chat with Paula or Daniel or myself about your project, or give us a call at 888-995-7996. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.